Louise here, your Residence Outreach Coordinator, and today I am joined by my teammate, the lovely Kym Kvasnak. She is our Health Promotions Coordinator, working within the Health and Wellness team on the DC side. And so Kym's going to share with us all the good stuff that's up and coming, how we are managing health and wellness and promotions during this pandemic, right? And what that looks like virtually. So Kym, I will let you take it away, introduce yourself, and I will sit and listen, throw in questions as I think of them, if that's cool, and take it away.
Yeah. Amazing. So my name is Kym Kvasnak, and I am the Health Promotions Coordinator at DC now with the Campus Health and Wellness Center. I'm relatively new to the role. I started back in November. I came from academic upgrading, and I've been there for about 5 years. I've been with the college since 2009. So yeah, I kind of came into a position where everything was starting fresh. The wellness center had sort of collapsed into the campus health center, so it became the campus health and wellness center just prior to COVID, and that was a big transition. And then COVID, and then that was another transition, and then I jumped on board. So I kind of got to start from the beginning, and everything's been, it's been really fluid, and we've had to kind of change with everything that's happened over the course of the last couple months, but things are moving. We've got lots in the works, lots on the go, and everything hopefully is been put together so that we can transition really smoothly when we do get back onto campus. And I'm really excited about some of the stuff that we're doing. I'm really stoked to be working with the Campus Health and Wellness Center team, with Louise, and we have our wellness coaches and mental health nurses, our doctors, our nurses, psychotherapists. It's a really strong team. They're to support students. They're really passionate about what they do, and they just want to help. So yeah, I'm stoked to be here.
And we're happy to have you. You're amazing. And so tell us about some of the initiatives that are up and coming and that you've got on the go.
Sure. So one of the big ones that we're launching next week is our Well Chat. So this is going to take place every Wednesday from 11:30 to 1:30. It is a virtual wellness space. It is drop-in, it's open, it is themed. So every week there'll be a new theme. And this is pretty consistent with a lot of the mental health stuff that's kind of happening, or wellness stuff, generally speaking, that's happening on campus. But the cool part about this is that students will have direct in-the-moment access to wellness coaches. So it'll be on Microsoft Teams. You'll just have to search up Well Chat, drop in from 11:30 to 1:30. And during that period, we'll have sort of like a breakout room or a back office for students to connect with either Jamie Meldrum or Lucy Romano Vanderpool. So that's kind of like a cool addition. And then on top of that, within the next couple of weeks, we're going to also sort of tack on from that 1:30 to 2:30 time slot a peer support group, facilitated support group through FIA in Toronto. I have some information regarding that I'm going to pass along to Louise, and hopefully she can post up on your Instagram. But ultimately right now, they have opened up their peer support wellness group to Durham College and OT students. It takes place, the first one's actually starting this Tuesday evening from 6:30 to 7:30. If there's a big uptake by our student community, then we're going to tack that onto our Well Chat on Wednesdays from 1:30 to 2:30.
And tell us, Kym, just for the students that will be tuning in to watch this, what does FIA stand for? Like, what's their sort of background and area of expertise?
Sure. So it actually started it's called Friendship in Action. So it actually started as peer support for youth, grade 6 to sort of 8. And over the course of the last couple of years, it's blown up in Toronto. Ryerson, they've been working with Ryerson University for quite a while now, predominantly under sort of a mindfulness scope. So they do some mindfulness drop-in peer group support. They work with, there's a men's group, they work with moms, there is a teen group, like a teen parenting group. Their scope is pretty broad. They have a lot of different practitioners within their agency. And so the big piece there is that it's not it's not heavily facilitated. A lot of it is just an opportunity for students to, or in this case, students to find that social connectedness again. Unfortunately, it does have to be virtual, but it's, you know, something's better than nothing. And at this point, if we could all just get into a space and complain about COVID together, I think it's more productive than doing it all by itself. So yeah, so that's kind of a cool addition, and I'm hoping we get some uptake so that we can tack that on to the end of our sessions on Wednesdays. There's some peer wellness coaching. This has been around for quite a while at Durham College, but it kind of got lost in the mix during all of these big transitions, but it's back up and in action. So if you go to the Durham College website, if you go to durhamcollege.ca, CWHC, and on the left-hand side, there's the Peer Wellness Coaching tab. Click on that, and you can email Pure Wellness Coaching at durhamcollege.ca if you're interested in either accessing or becoming a Pure Wellness Coach. So that is run by Jamie and Lucy, our wellness coaches as well.
That's amazing. So for those who would be interested in participating as, you know, as a peer support, are there certain you know, sort of qualifications, or does it have to be, you know, from a social science background, or you know, is everybody welcome?
As far as I know, it is totally inclusive and anybody and everybody is welcome. There is like you have to submit a form and sort of there's like an application process, I believe, but yeah, it's any and all are welcome to apply there. And if you have any questions,
that's awesome.
Yeah, just use that Peer Wellness Coaching at durhamcollege.ca, because Jamie and Lucy have a little bit more information about that program than I will.
Yeah, that's amazing, because I do think peer support and connection is it's just it's community, right? Like it's building relationships and building them with those outside of, say, staff like ourselves who, yes, we're passionate, but it's nice to sort of have people in the exact same place that you are right now to be able to share your story with and, you know, receive that feedback, right?
It's huge, yeah. I mean, you want that empathy, but the sympathy there is too. Like we're, you know, as students, we're all kind of, I think, the students are suffering in their own ways right now, and as staff and faculty, we're kind of meeting our own barriers and our own challenges. And so when you have somebody who's in the same boat, it's definitely easier to work through things or commiserate together and kind of find solace in each other. And again, that social connectedness piece is huge in terms of our mental health. And there's a lot of research, I think, right now that is really bringing forth the idea that those intimate relationships in our life are really, really important, but a lot of what we're missing right now are sort of those casual relationships, those, you know, being at the bank and just, you know, saying hi and making that casual chat with somebody in line, or at, you know, at the campus pub, or whatever the case might be, right? Saying hi, walking down the street, like we crave that kind of thing. And so this is a really great opportunity to get in the mix with that.
Yeah, and so is there, you know, for those sessions that are inclusive of both student bodies, Ontario Tech U and the DC side, is there a one-stop shop where all of this stuff is listed, or an easy click where students can navigate information or how to join sessions overall? I know you mentioned Microsoft Teams. I'm assuming that's like the DC side of things. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, so in terms of any of the sessions that we're doing with the Well Chat, that will be all Microsoft Teams. You can catch our promotion on Instagram. So we're at wellness@DC. And so our themes for each week, you know, once we decide to add on those peer facilitated support groups, all of that kind of information around the Well Chat will be on Instagram. In any sort of reference to wellness coaching, I mean, there's some of that information on Instagram, but if you go to the durhamcollege.ca/CWHC CHWC, Campus Health and Wellness Center, along that side column, there is everything you need to know in terms of the services that the Campus Health and Wellness Center offers. So, you know, access to whether it be a doctor's appointment or a mental health nurse appointment, how to book those appointments, wellness coaching, peer wellness coaching, physio, massage, chiro, everything. So that's sort of our one-stop shop for a lot of our information. But in terms of the events and our like newer initiatives, a lot of that will be on Instagram.
Perfect. And then in terms of themes, I know you may not have everything solidified yet, or you may. What types of themes might students expect to see up and coming?
So in terms of the well chat, we've looked at a couple different things. We'd like to do one on men's health. We'd like to do some stuff on, it's COVID and I'm at home and so is my husband. Just 1 minute.
Yeah, for sure.
My daughter's a daycare.
Right?
Yep, I'm great.
Doing a wellness check. There you go.
Right. Are you okay? Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't even know where I was.
Just sort of themes, or like you were mentioning, like
yes,
health, which is awesome.
So, yeah, men's health was one that we had talked about. We're going to look at some different mindfulness stuff. I know DBT was something we were looking at trying to include. I think we wanted to really touch base with DCSI and see if we could kind of play off some of their stuff as well, that we could align some of our material. And so that thematically is kind of in the works as well. I'm sure there'll be stuff about sleep and nutrition. We're looking into some guest speakers, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, that stuff, you know, I think we're all feeling a bit disrupted in the most basic areas of our life right now, be it sleep, nutrition. It's kind of hard, you know, when you've got to study so many hours a day and you've got midterms to, you know, necessarily have time, first of all, to reach for something healthy, but just feel that you even want to, right? And then once we get on the sugar train, it could be hard to get off. So, you know, things that seem so, eating is something we need to do, it's fuel every day, but it can be so confusing and frustrating, you know, especially right now, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of information out there. It's not always accurate. And I mean, something we had actually talked about was just a session on how to decipher, you know, quality, rigorous information from like social media. Right? So just, I mean, just general health literacy, mental health literacy, these things are really important.
Yeah, and you're right. There is so much information right now that, you know, how do you know what's accurate, or, you know, are some places more trusted than others? And so I think that's huge, especially since most of us are connecting and living online right now. Like that's our main form of, you know, contact, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And something else that I just want to sort of mention, we're moving into it, but we've put together some workshops as well that'll probably come forward in the spring, just in terms of trying to foster social connectedness and sort of mediate that social isolation and grief that I know a lot of our students are experiencing. Keep an eye out. It doesn't have a title yet, but really all it's going to be is a bunch of different workshops to bring students together, and whether it's online or, you know, we can get into the gym and be sort of socially distanced and do everything responsibly. It'll be everything from, you know, cooking workshops, painting workshops, building mallet bead necklaces, just some stuff that, like, if we want to throw some themes in there and address mental health, great, but it's really just an opportunity for students to get together and do some cool stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, it sounds like you're really on the pulse in terms of, you know, the fact that obviously we can't all be in a room right now, or students aren't passing in the hallways that, you know, we would have, you know, sort of that advantage of in years prior, right? To being able to offer, you know, all these different activities together. But it sounds like you're really on the pulse when it comes to how can we make this happen in a way that's meaningful. And if we can get, you know, people together in the gym, if it's feasible, you know, that you'll push for that and try for that. And
yeah,
recognizing our students maybe need some time, say, and the students that I serve, say, out of their rooms, right?
Yeah, yeah, I'm really hoping that moving forward, we can try and even do as much hybrid as humanly possible, just to get as close to, you know, that sort of buzzword, that new normal as we can, as quickly as we can. And I think you're going to see, again, just as a quick little throw it on in there, you're going to see a lot of stuff coming out of the Campus Health and Wellness Center soon in terms of vaccinations, COVID vaccine. I'm sure that's all going to start flowing as well. And that really is an opportunity for us to sort of get back to what a version of what was, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I wanted to ask you, I noticed in your bio, and for any students who, so again, I apologize, we had to jump off of Instagram today and rework things, and we made it happen. Thanks to Kym and my support team within residence, Brett. Where was I going with that? See, this is what happens when you talk too much. You lose your place. Oh, I've just totally lost my train of thought.
It happens all the time. Between the interruptions, I have 3 cats. I have a 3-year-old. I have a husband who sometimes works from home too. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
it's hard.
It's juggling.
And it's this dynamic too, the back and forth. I'm really, I think I had mentioned it earlier, but like I do some teaching as well as faculty for Durham College, and sometimes there's like 30 students in a one call and nobody has their camera on and nobody's got their microphone on, and you just get really good at talking at yourself that you forget, like, okay, now I'm going to chat with somebody else and I have to let them speak.
Yeah, no, I know. It's I've seen so many memes flying around about that, sort of like, just people spending time at the coffee shop ordering their coffee longer than usual because it's interaction and it's a human and they're in front of me, right? Like we're really unpolished right now to some degree, right? It came back to me. I know what I was going to ask you. I was going to say in your bio, that's where I was going. You had mentioned student wellness and just wellness overall and how it's impactful to a student. So as a student, as a prof, right? Could you speak to that? Like, why is wellness important? Why should this be something that students utilize and reach out for during this time?
So I think the Campus Health and Wellness Center's sort of mission statement, the idea that the student wellness experience comes first, it really encompasses everything, in that like you have to fill your own cup first. Like I know it's trite, but like you put on your own oxygen mask first when you're on an airplane. Like we're not capable of functioning for others in any type of effective capacity if we can't or haven't taken care of ourselves. You gotta press pause, right? You have to, I think, and I mean, it's not always, I know that there's not always faculty members out there that may be as flexible as others during this time, but like, you have to reach out, you have to communicate. And I think by doing that, especially with faculty, you're really giving yourself the window to sort of take that time to do whatever it is that you need to do, right? Like if you're late on an assignment, but it's not 3 o'clock in the morning and you're emailing and you're like, I don't have it done, right? But a week ahead of time or a couple of days ahead of time, and you're reaching out and you're communicating and you're trying to plan, and like everybody's just doing their absolute best right now. And sometimes that's just getting out of bed in the morning. For some people, that's having a bowl of cereal. For some people, it's, getting a full 8-hour workday in and being super, productive, whatever the case might be. We're all just doing our best. But I think, taking that time to reset, right? And giving yourself a little bit of grace and giving yourself whatever it is you need that day, taking it a day at a time is really important. It's what's going to allow you to make it to the next day and the next day and the next day until you can take it a week at a time or a month at a time or whatever the case might be.
Yeah, it's great advice, because I think we forget, right? I think it's easy to forget that we are all living that experience, and it's human nature, I think, to feel as though the fear, right, of I'm not doing well enough, and everybody else is handling this better and everyone else is making it work, when in reality, you know, we are all facing some sort of struggle somewhere along the line, right? And so tell us, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, some people are just better at faking it till they make it. Like, in all honesty, that's a lot of the time, you know, right? You kind of, yeah. Some of us are just more honest on the outside.
Yeah.
Some of, yeah, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah, and sometimes it's just what you've experienced. You sort of bring that to the table, and it creates that awareness, right? Of like, oh, okay, if I'm going through this, I can sort of recognize it elsewhere, and yeah, it is just to be gentle and kind. And so, if students do, after watching, you know, this video, you know, if they feel like, oh, I've got a really cool theme I'd love to see implemented, or at the very
mhm.
least want to reach out to Kym and be able to share that, like, are you open to that? Is that appropriate? And
Yes,
how
please.
does do it?
Yes, definitely. So if you have something that you really want to see us touch base on, you can email me at Kimberly, Kymberly.Kvasnak. Good luck. I'll let you spell it. We'll never get your email. It's KV as in Victor, ASNAK at durhamcollege.ca, and just let me know what you want us to cover, and we will do our absolute best to work it in there for sure.
Yeah, like, I mean, so if students had, say, groups or sessions, or just, you know, really outside the box ideas, I guess what you're saying is like all ideas are welcome. There isn't anything too big, too small to sort
Yeah.
of throw out there. And
We want to cater to what the students want. And I know, like, you can probably speak to this, but in terms of the uptake of a lot of this virtual stuff, it's tough to get people to come along for the ride, right? So if, even there's one or two people that are just like, I really want to talk about this, or can we give this a try? Whatever the case might be, we're willing to touch on what is, what the need is, right? We want to definitely be responsive to whatever that need is. So
yeah, and I spoke with Jen Powell earlier, was sharing. She's the outreach coordinator for the Career Development Office on the DC side, and she's planning and hosting the upcoming March 11th job fair. And she was saying, you know, it's about recognizing that maybe joining a session doesn't look like you have to have your camera on. It doesn't look like you have to participate beyond showing up. That is participating, right? Like, there isn't
yeah,
that huge expectation that you have to show up and, you know, we're all going to virtually hold hands and sing Kumbaya together, or whatever the case may be, right?
yeah, we could totally do that. It just doesn't seem to be, what anybody's looking for.
Yeah,
I'm down. Come
I'll
on.
do it. I'll do it. But just students should rest assured, I guess they can show up in whatever way showing up feels like in that moment, right? Like, if it's, you know, just showing up with camera off, um, you know, using the chat or not, that's okay.
Yeah, I think not only that, but like, not everything we're going to touch on is or speak to is going to be something that you might be interested in, but take the pieces, right? Hang
Yeah.
out for an hour or two and take the pieces that work for you and run with that. I mean, we're not here to, if you can come in and you can, find a little bit of a new perspective, if you can grow a little bit, reflect a little bit, we're good. That's all we ask. That's sort of the expectation. Beyond that, like, your participation is just showing up, right? And that can be with your camera off and your mic off or not.
That's right. And so, given that, you know, we've got the Ontario Tech U students in res, and obviously the DC
Mhm.
students in-house in res as well, for students who might want to, you know, connect with you from the Ontario Tech side, or see some of the new events or themes as they come up. So just reminding them, I guess, that they are welcome to,
Of
um,
course,
yeah, to
definitely.
join.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're building these initiatives for people that want to access them. That's it. So it doesn't matter if you're DC or you're OT, jump on, join in, and hopefully you can make even a little bit of difference in your day.
Yeah, share the love, right? So we're coming to the end of time. So any pearls of wisdom or any final words that you feel like, share with the students that your lasting legacy here on this video? No,
Oh my gosh.
no pressure whatsoever.
I think as much as we want to promote these initiatives, and they're all virtual at this point, put the technology away. I mean, after this morning, or this like earlier today, trying to set up with Insta Live, like just remember to put the technology away. Like have some time in your day that you just do nothing, like literally nothing. And that's a really hard thing to do, right? Like if you can take 5 minutes out of your day to just reset, great. If you could have, like, one of the things we do in our house is usually at the end of the day, like 4 or 5 o'clock, our phones go in a basket and they kind of just hang out there until, the next morning at 7 or 8 o'clock. And I'm attached to a laptop all day long, and COVID and Zoom fatigue is a legitimate thing, right? So sometimes you just have to remove yourself, even if you don't want to, right? It's hard, but it's definitely it's beneficial for sure. So unplug when you can, take your 5-minute reset, press that pause button, fill your cup. Those are kind of my big, and drink lots of water. That's my.
I got mine here too. There we go.
Right?
No, I love that. That was perfect, because I think we forget, we feel so attached to our devices, right? It's just part of us now. And I think, I don't know about you, Kym, but I was saying this to one of my other teammates, like my back is so sore all the time, and just from sitting and being in the same place, and even that in itself can just bring you down, makes you tired and grouchy and just not your best self, right?
Yeah, I mean, and I am not a huge practice what you preach kind of thing, because I could eat one of those jars of like cotton candy in one sitting, but getting outside is a big thing for me. So it's not just the 5-minute reset, but I need to spend, like, rain or shine, blizzard or no blizzard. I'm outside for like an hour a day. So if it's a half-hour walk in the morning, even if it's to get like a coffee or something downtown, we're really fortunate that we live to downtown. But like, just, I need the fresh air. I need a trail. I need, just out of my house for an hour a day.
I'd agree. And maybe as you're saying that, I'm thinking maybe we need to like come up with some stuff together, like a residence challenge, where we can challenge students to get outside once a day, take a photo, right, of like what was your activity, like a little incentive there, right? Just to feel like I got out, I documented it, it happened, it's real, right?
It's like going to the gym. I find, like, getting out the door is the hardest part. Once you're outside, you throw in some tunes, you go grab a coffee that's laced full of sugar if you're me, and like you go for another half an hour, right? But it it definitely makes a difference in my day to get outside for sure. And with having a little one, it makes it easier too, right? Like they just want to be out there, so you gotta be out there.
Gotta get out there, you gotta toboggan that hill. It's not happening,
right?
Yep.
We had so much. That's so funny that you said that. We went on the weekend, and I just had a blast. I think I had as much, if not more, fun than she did.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I'm a big kid. Like, watch out, kids. I'm on the hill. Like,
maybe that's a tip then. Like, just I know in my blurb there I said, like, I love how my 3-year-old says exactly what's on her mind. Like, they're so honest and so transparent. They don't care what anybody thinks. But at the same time, like, if we could learn to play again the way they play, and there's so much in like play-based activities and so much learning that we can still do even as adults, that's a pretty cool lesson. I haven't learned it yet, but I'm dabbling.
Baby steps, right? It's baby steps, the art of play. Like, yeah, we have to relearn. We're sort of trained out of that as we move through life, right? To
100%.
sort of play doesn't make for good worker bees necessarily, right? Like,
no, but you can spin anything, right? It increases creativity, which could increase productivity.
yeah.
So my line of work, at least.
Yeah, that's it. So that was amazing. So now you guys know how to reach Kym if you have ideas, an idea of some of the sessions that are up and coming, and what kind of things, right, we've got out there. So utilize it, please. Kym, thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you soon.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.